Hi, it's Jamie from Everyone here. I hope you're all managing to stay mentally and physically healthy, even under lockdown, and at least managing to get out and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine, even if it is in your own back gardens. Now that a lot of people are working from home, I'm sure most of you are using tools like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Houseparty potentially, for video conferencing. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about security or best practices to use for security while using these apps or programs. So there's been a few stories in the news recently about Zoom and Houseparty in particular of being potentially insecure or users being hacked, especially for other accounts like Instagram and Spotify and things like that after the apps have been installed. Now, the vendors have come out and said that's not necessarily the case and that these apps don't link in with the other services, so that this isn't possible. But what I thought about, or what I wanted to do, was just share a few tips that would make this impossible. So for anybody that has already downloaded those apps, or maybe is thinking of downloading those apps, can go through and adopt these and limit the risk of any sort of hacking attempts. It's also good practice to apply to websites in general or different apps and different services, and it is a really simple tip. Essentially, you don't want to be using the same username and password or the same set of credentials across different websites. So some of the stories you're hearing about Houseparty and potentially Zoom, where users have been hacked or think they've been hacked, could be something as simple as they've used the same username and password in one system that's then been leaked, and it unlocks the keys to their Spotify accounts, their Instagram accounts and things like that. So a really basic and simple way of stopping that is just having unique credentials for each app or each software that you use. I know iPhone in particular now creates strong passwords itself when you fill out the app sign up forms. So they're great to use. It means you don't have to necessarily remember them because they're stored in the keychain. You can get similar programs for laptops as well, or any computers. We use one called RoboForm, which lets you generate random passwords and also store them in the computer's memory so you don't have to remember them. So using stuff like that is ideal when you're trialing new software or you're potentially downloading apps. So using a service like RoboForm or the keychain and using unique passwords in all your different apps and services has never been easier than it is right now. And it also ensures that your accounts, if for example one was compromised or hacked, the hacker couldn't then access a range of your accounts because you only use that credential with that one service or app. So that's a really basic way of limiting risk. The other thing that we recommend is using two-factor authentication across all your apps and services where possible. And this is a system that you have a username and password, but then you also receive a text code or something similar, maybe an app code, when you try and log into that system. You probably will be familiar with this. Banks and online banking have been using two-factor for quite a while now. It's starting to filter down into pretty much every software service or app. So where you've got the option to do two-factor, if you set that up, that will ensure that if your passwords are lost or compromised or sold on the dark web, people can't gain access to those services or applications without having that second form of authentication, which is normally a text code or something like that. We've actually written a book, which you can see here, that talks about that process and how important it is, and someone that hadn't done that and the consequences they experienced. So if you want a copy of that book, either in e-format or physically, just please get in touch, drop a comment below, or email me and I can arrange that for you as well. If you've got any other questions or security concerns about apps you've got, again, please reach out to me, and I've got plenty of time at the moment to give some free advice or to have a chat. Thank you.